Hi there, my name is Vanessa Robinson. I'm a senior at Fort Hays State University. My major is early childhood education. I've been going to Fort Hays for about 3 years. I went to Washburn University for 8, so this is a very long process. But I've been going part-time. I've been doing a lot of I did a lot of online at Washburn, and then when my fiance Ben and I decided to have a child, I then transferred over to Fort Hays. That way I could stay at home with my son, who is, he just turned 3 a week ago today. His name is Brock. So we all live here in Topeka, Kansas. That's where we were born, raised. We live here in a small country home on 55 acres. So we love to be outdoors, do outdoor things, kayaking, hiking, camping, things like that. So my end goal is to be a preschool teacher. Previously, I was a preschool paraprofessional at Quincy Elementary here in Topeka, Kansas for 9 years, and then I left to be a stay-at-home mom. On top of being a stay-at-home mom, like I said, I'm a student, but I'm also the Kids Club District Coordinator for Genesis Health Clubs. It's a really great job. I get to bring Brock with me to work most days, but he does go to daycare part-time also, just so he gets that socialization with other children and adults. So that's a little bit about me. I'm very excited for this semester. I'm sure it's going to be great. So for the assignment for assistive technology, I've gathered a couple of things here. I'll start with a bowl that has a suction at the bottom. These are really great for young kids that are just starting to learn how to eat, like how to feed themselves. Oftentimes what happens when they put food in the bowl, they put it down, they'll knock it over, and you have a huge mess. So these suction cups are really great. I use these a lot with my son. I'll kind of lower this down here so you can kind of see it. But you place it on a hard surface, and then you push down, and then that way the bowl does not go anywhere. So you really got to give it some force. I'm pulling pretty hard on it. So those are really great for the little ones there, so they're less messes. This could be used either at home, in a daycare facility, I mean, really anywhere. But once I think my son, like I said, just turned 3, so probably about 6 months ago, maybe when he was 2, he wasn't really using the suction part. We just still keep it because it's a nice bowl. But once they start getting more independent with eating, then you don't really need to rely on this. It's just mainly in the early stages. So you can kind of use it anywhere, like I said. So the next thing, as I mentioned before, I was a preschool paraprofessional. We came across a lot of students that sometimes had some difficulty sitting still while on the carpet, engaged in a learning activity. So some of those kids that just need a little bit of something extra to keep them occupied and focused, we used a lot of fidget toys. One of my favorite they're called Tangles. I'm sure you've probably seen them before, but I actually use these too if I go to a lecture. Sometimes I just have to have my mind kind of doing something else to keep me focused on, someone at the front there giving information. So these are really great. Kids, they can just kind of spin them around in their hands. They're really cheap. They're kind of hard to find, I will admit, but I think I got most of mine at a local toy store. But and I'm not really sure if Walmart's or Target's carries them, but I know you can get them online too, like Amazon.com. But they can come apart. They pull apart in different pieces, so the kids can kind of just explore with these. And with any fidget toys, if they obviously become too much of a distraction, either for the student using them or other students around, then you may need to try something else. So if a tangle's too much, which normally they work pretty well, anything that has like a texture, this is just a simple bristle block, you could give the student a couple of these to kind of just sit there and put together, move around. But the texture is really cool. It's really nice. So, and some of those kids need that extra touch sensory. So bristle blocks, tangles, these, obviously babies use these, but the kids, they can just kind of take them apart, put them on, rearrange them. The best thing about fidget toys is, you know, they're not very noisy. That's something you want to keep in mind. You don't want anything that like lights up or, like I said, makes a noise. You really don't want to distract from the learning. You don't want to distract the other children from their learning. So try and keep that in mind. Again, but you know, you can try different things. I've used Play-Doh in the past. This also depends on the student too. I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of Play-Doh. Just because it's messy, it might get in the carpet. So I always suggest just like very small amounts, and maybe work up to Play-Doh. Maybe not start them off with that, but Play-Doh is really good. It's quiet, you know, things like that. So those are a few of the fidget toys that I just kind of had around here that I've used, and that my son, he likes the Tangles a lot. So that's like I said, really well in a preschool setting. If the children are asked to sit like on the carpet for a large group activity, you could do small group activity too. But you know, these are great almost for any ages. I mean, Tangles, I'm 32 years old and I still use a Tangle. So fidget toys I think are just great for anybody, and just kind of helps keep them focused, because sometimes your mind starts to wander, and if you have something tangible, it just kind of keeps you grounded there. So the last thing I have are headphones. These are actually, oddly enough, these are headphones that we use for when we do shooting. We have a range in our backyard, so we have a lot of these laying around the house. But for students that might be sensitive to loud noises, these are really great, especially like autistic children. Sometimes loud noises can really bother them. So if you know that you're going to do like in a preschool classroom setting, if you know you're going to do a really cool music activity, but you're just not sure how little Bobby's going to do with that, just go ahead and put these on him ahead of time. Let him know, hey, we're going to do some music. It might get a little loud, and this is just going to help you keep your body calm. So these are too small. I can't really put them on my head, but they just put them on their ears. It's just kind of noise canceling headphones. Use it during tornado practice, fire drills, even maybe just use them in a quiet area in the corner to read a book. You know, sometimes it gets a little noisy in a classroom or a daycare facility, and sometimes you just need to shut out that noise, so that child doesn't get overstimulated. So again, this could be for any ages really. There's different sizes. These are obviously toddler size, so you might want to step up when you get to the preschool level. But those are my 3 low-tech assistive technology objects that I have there. I look forward to this semester, and thanks so much.